Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Long-standing feud behind stabbing death of stepdad. A long-standing feud is said to be behind the fatal stabbing of 45-year-old Conrad Morgan, allegedly at the hands of his teenage stepson. The incident occurred at their home in Fort Pass, Clarendon on Monday evening. Tension between the two were reignited Monday during a heated argument over the use of the bathroom. The police said the argument reportedly escalated into a fight and that both were allegedly armed with knives, which they said were used to inflict stabbing wounds to each other. The teenager reportedly received an injury to his left hand while Morgan was stabbed in the left side of his neck. Both were taken to hospital where Morgan died while being treated. The teenager, who attends a high school in the parish, was treated and later taken into police custody. Investigations are ongoing. Police probe death of 1-year-old in Clarendon. The Coffsill police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of a 1-year-old boy. Police report that the infant, Stephen West, was at home with his mother and stepfather on Monday when his lifeless body was found in a section of the house. The police were summoned and removed the child, who was later pronounced dead. According to the police report, the infant appeared to have fallen from bed the night before but was not taken to receive medical attention. In addition, citizens in the area said they heard the infant crying for much of the day on Sunday, the police reported. Investigations are ongoing. I'm not dead. Mandeville Mayor blames Paul's daughter for death rumor. Mayor of Mandeville and Council for the Royal Flat Division, Donovan Mitchell, has dispelled a rumor that was posted on social media claiming that he died. Speaking with reporters at the Manchester Municipal Corporation's Road and Works Department in Mandeville, Mitchell provided clarity on how the rumor started. He said his eldest daughter started the rumor to get his attention. We have been out of touch for a little while. I know her very well, trying to get my attention, he said. I'm alive and well. I am going to live until I am old enough for them to put me in a wheelchair and drive me around communities, he said. He thanked people locally and overseas who reached out to him. Confusion on Long Lane. Motorcyclist injured, ignored by motorist. Two men, a motorcyclist and his brilliant passenger, were rushed to hospital after they were injured in a crash on a road known as Long Lane in St. Andrew on Tuesday. The incident triggered shock and confusion along the busy thoroughfare and even caused a traffic pileup. The unfortunate development also triggered a situation that has left one motorist bewildering and still trying to come to terms with what he witnessed. The motorist said that two men traveling on the motorcycle were injured to the point where they were laying on the ground bleeding, creating what he described as disturbing sight. But just when the motorist thought that things could not get any worse, he said he witnessed several motorists slowing down to see what was happening and even observing that the men were bleeding and in bad need of transportation to get to the hospital, but instead of stopping to render some assistance, the motorist drove past. I was trying to get assistance to get them to the hospital, but eventually everybody just passing, said the obviously distraught motorist. He said two good Samaritans came along several minutes later and offered help. The driver, who was grateful for the help, had a message to persons traveling on the road, motorcyclists and motorists alike. I would just like to implore the riders and drivers to look out for each other on the road because it could have been any one of us. It was a horrible accident. To see a man like that just lying on the ground, everybody passing, no one to take him up to assist him, that could have been me, said the motorist. Reports from sources are that about 10 a.m., the two men were traveling on a motorcycle towards Constant Spring when a Toyota car was traveling in the opposite direction, when it is alleged that the driver attempted to turn right into a complex when the accident occurred. Leon Bailey signs as Flow brand ambassador. Jamaica and Aston Villa winger Leon Bailey has been named as the brand ambassador for communications and entertainment provider Flow. The 24-year-old Bailey was unveiled on Tuesday at a welcome ceremony at the AC Hotel in Kingston. Flow Senior Marketing Director Sarah Martins de la Vera said that the partnership will run for 3 years and will include commercial collaborations as well as philanthropic initiatives between the Flow Foundation and the Leon Bailey Foundation. Leon is a living example of what you can achieve with hard work, commitment, and focus. And we believe those are qualities worth celebrating, said the marketing director. Bailey was also welcomed by longtime brand ambassador and fastest woman alive Elaine Thompson-Hero. I want to thank the Flow team for believing in me and giving me the opportunity to be a part of your family, said Bailey. Family struggles to cope after tragic death of rising social media star. The untimely passing of the young comedian Lexington Williams has left her family struggling to cope with a pain they have never known. Williams died in a car crash in Trelawney on May 18. Relatives of the 20-year-old social media personality say the hurt is so unbearable they cannot bring themselves to share it on social media space she once flourished. To add to their grief, a GoFundMe account set up to assist with funeral expenses for their beloved, as well as to offset the medical cost of William's best friend, Celia Vernon, who was injured in the accident, has been met with negative comments from social media users. William's mother, Lena Paris, told reporters that comments questioning what her daughter did with the cash prize in a comedy competition she won last year has been most hurtful. She argued that critics have conveniently forgotten when her daughter won the grand prize in Cashment Entertainment's 876 roommates. She shared her winnings with the other finalists. We are really just trying to be strong, and I remember when Lexi was doing her thing before she eloped and all of this, she was just doing her videos. She got a lot of negativity, so we know it's a part of social media thing, but for me it's affecting me a whole lot, she said. I don't want to go on Facebook and Instagram and those stuff. I don't want to use it, she continued. Everybody was posting that Lexi brought joy to everyone's life and things that is really surprising. Lexi won the money and she shared half of it with her friends from the show. Come on, man. Remember, nobody cannot see the future. She didn't know her death was coming and she had goals, so that money she was left with, she used it to set up herself and put things in place to move forward. Paris added that her daughter had been putting things in place to secure her legacy. She said the GoFundMe account was set up partly to ensure that legacy was still realized. She said too that being the caring individual she was, her daughter would have wanted her best friend who is battling for life at hospital to be assisted in every way possible. Reporters understand that Vernon is in need of a pin to hold her leg in place. The latter was reportedly cost $100,000. The GoFundMe page is not even just for Lexi, it's for her best friend who is in hospital in critical condition. She had punctured lungs, broken ribs, her face twists, and one of her foot break. Knowing how close they were as a family, we wanted to help. So the GoFundMe is for her as well, the mother stated. Persons interested in making donations can do so at the GoFundMe./895A1C27. The target is US $20,000. So far, the page has received just under US $300. JC quarrel deepens. The month-long dispute that has rocked Jamaica College JC deepened on Monday when the secretary of the Past Students Association fired back at accusations of misappropriation of millions of dollars levied against it by the school board. Jamaica College Old Boys Association Secretary Kevin Walker weighed in on a quarrel after the board on Sunday in a Zoom meeting titled Pastor Jarrett's Ongoing Harmful Actions Against Jamaica College and Why We Must Unite to Stop Him, claimed that the Jarrett-led JCOBA was unable to account for US $20,494.26 or $3,176,610.30 from the sale of uniforms. In an interview, Walker said that the current spot at a spilled over from the impasse last year when the board had warned Jarrett and another old boy to stop making public statements about developments at the high school. Walker said the stock of uniforms to which the board referred had been given to JCOBA in a fundraising effort which was halted by the novel coronavirus pandemic. He said during that period, JC acting principal Wayne Robinson appealed to JCOBA for emergency funding to keep the school afloat, pay staff, and do other things. As an emergency situation, we, along with our overseas-based chapters, gave Mr. Robinson some money out of the uniform sales and other money through donation to finance the school. We were manipulating the sales of the uniforms, and the profits were used to mix and match, give some to the school, the sporting team, and so on. Because of COVID, the uniform sales came to a complete stop. We had expected school to open and it affected the sales, he said. Walker added, when the impasse started and got into high gear, they took the start of uniform from us, which we would have sold and repaid the supplier. It left us with a dead hand. We are a tributary organization. We gave back the uniforms as we were asked, as the JC is the one with the contractual agreement with the supplier. Taking back the uniforms has its own repercussions. They took the uniforms from us and gave to a private entity. They took it from a charitable body, JCOBA, that has proven time and time again to be exemplary and accountable, and gave it to a private entity. When contacted by reporters on Monday, Major Jarrett said he was unable to comment at this time. However, in a letter dated March 3, 2022, addressed to Robinson, and which was being released on social media, Jarrett asserted that Robinson has attempted to insert himself into the operational activities of stakeholders, particularly in their relationship with suppliers. He further stated that if it of great concern to the JCOBA that Robinson chose to interfere with its operations, especially in a manner that cripples JCOBA's ability to support the school financially. The letter also outlined a breakdown of income and expenditure regarding the uniform sales, which was one of the points of contention during the Zoom meeting that had more than 100 attendees. The letter to Robinson further stated that between August 20 and December 2021, the JCOBA took possession of US $49,353.15 worth of uniforms and merchandise from a supplier, Joseph Sports, at an exchange rate at US $130 to Jamaica, $1, $6,415,909.50. To date, the JCOBA has made 2 payments to Joseph Sports. Major Jarrett also stated in the letter that a breakdown of an understanding debt of US $16,648.11 reflects monies donated to the school over the period 2020 to 2022 for contributions to the track, football, table tennis, and school challenge quiz team, as well as student welfare support in the form of tablets, data, laptop, and care packages. Invoices and receipts can be provided to substantiate these claims, he stated. This debt was incurred as a result of cash flow decision by the JCOBA to prioritize meeting the urgent needs to the school over to the immediate clearing of the arrears with the supplier. We did this because we knew how badly the school needed the support and because we had anticipated being able to clear this debt one full face-to-face school resume and uniform demand and sales had increased, Jarrett added. With the imminent return of full-time face-to-face school on March 7, 2022, and the expected increase in demand for uniforms and merchandise, we had anticipated not only clearing the arrears, but also generating a profit to continue supporting the boys once they are back on campus. We are therefore recommending that the goods be returned to the JCOBA in order to allow us to address the outstanding amount to the supplier and to continue to support the school, the JCOBA president stated. He also called on the board to cease and desist what he described as an attempt to besmirch the JCOBA's reputation. Jarrett's call was a return salvo to JCC's and desist call on him issued November 30, 2021, as public controversy swirled around the issue of Royal Reed's possible return to the high school as principal after the Education Ministry rejected a recommendation from the school board for a 5-year extension of special leave granted to Reed in March 2016 to serve as Education Minister. However, on November 20, 2021, the day that the leave was set to expire, Reed and the school board issued a joint release advising of his immediate resignation. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.